students, this is 11th class biology, lecture 6 of chapter 4, Animal Kingdom. To be discussed today are these classes of vertebrates. First is amphibia, after that reptilia, apes and mammalia. Let's start with amphibia. These are the characteristic features for the amphibians. First is aquatic larval life and terrestrial adult life. Amphibia means they can live in water as well as on land. Okay, so their larval life is aquatic, means larvae of amphibians are found in water and their adults are found on land. Okay, usually they are found on land but they can live in water as well, but larvae are always found in water. For breeding they require a watery environment, so they need aquatic environment for their breeding. And which part of breeding? For the fertilization, because they need water as a traveling medium by the gametes. Okay, because in amphibians external fertilization occur and gametes need to travel through the water to reach near each other. Okay, so they need water for the traveling of the gametes. Then pentadactyl limbs means limbs are having 5 digits. Penta means 5. Okay, and pentadactyl limbs means limbs are having 5 digits. Moist skin without scales, so scales are absent in amphibians and their skin is moist. A tympanum represents the ear. Okay, so ear is not external ear is absent in amphibians. Ear is represented only by a opening, that is called tympanum. Alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tracts open into a common chamber, that is called cloaca. Okay, alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tracts, these three open into a common chamber. And what is the name for that common chamber? That is cloaca. There are not separate opening for these. Okay, like for the alimentary canal there can be anus separately, right, and for the urinary bladder also it can open into a separate opening, but here there is a common chamber, that is called cloaca, which opens to exterior, right? This cloaca opens to exterior for both for all of these. Okay, respiration is by gills in larva, because larvae are aquatic, so respiration occurs by gills. In aquatic forms respiration occurs by gill. And lungs and through skin. And in the adult life, whenever they live on the land, so respiration can take place through lungs or skin. Heart is 3-chambered, and in these 3 chambers are 2 auricle and 1 ventricle. And these animals are poikilotherms. Poikilotherms means these are cold-blooded animals. These cannot regulate their body temperature with the external environment temperature. Okay, their body temperature change with the external environmental temperature. They cannot regulate their body temperature, means it doesn't remain constant. Next are sexes are separate, fertilization external. Oviparous means they lay egg. Development is direct. Development is indirect, because larval stages are found. That's why development is indirect. Examples of amphibians are bufo, that is called toad. Rana is the scientific name for the frog. Hyla is the scientific name for tree frog. And salamandra is the scientific name for salamander. Then ichthyophis, this is the scientific name for limbless amphibia. Okay, limbs are absent in these amphibia. Then ambystoma is another example. Reptilia, and these are the characteristic features for the reptiles. First is dry and cornified skin. So their skin is dry and cornified, means uppermost layer of the skin get modified for the protection and becomes tough. Okay, so that is called cornified skin. Epidermal scales or scutes are found. Okay, on the epidermis layer scales are present, and these scales are also called scutes. Snakes and lizards shed their scales as skin cast. Okay, You might have seen that skin cast sometimes. Snakes and lizard shed their uppermost layer of the skin, that is made up of scales. Okay, that is epidermal scales are present because epidermal scales are present here, right? So this is the uppermost layer, which is as scales, and it is shed off by the snakes and lizards. That is called skin cast. Tympanum represents the ear. Like in amphibians, here also for the ear an opening is present, that is called tympanum. Limbs are two pairs if present. Okay, in some reptiles limbs can be present, in some these can be absent. So if the limbs are present, these limbs will be two pairs. Heart is three chambered but a septum partially separate ventricle. So here in reptiles also heart is three chambered, but here between the ventricles, between the ventricle, one ventricle is present because here, okay, so between the ventricle a septum formation starts. Okay, like in amphibian also three chamber heart is present, right? Two auricles and one ventricle, and here also. But what is the difference? In the ventricle a septum, means a type of wall you can say, is present to separate the ventricle into two parts. Okay, and heart is four chambered in crocodiles. So that is also a reptile, and it is the only, you can say, exception in case of reptiles having four chambered heart. Okay, reptiles are also poikilotherms, means cold blooded animals. They cannot regulate their body temperature with the external environmental temperature. Okay, their body fluids temperature also gets changed when the external environment temperature get changed. Okay, for that's why reptiles are inactive during the during the winter season. Okay, you can't see the lizards. Okay, so because these are poikilotherms, these are cold-blooded animals. Fertilization is internal, takes place inside the body of animal. These are oviparous, means lay egg. Development is direct, so no larva and pupa stages are found here. Then these are the examples for the reptiles. First is Chilon, that is called turtle. Then Testudo, that is called tortoise. Chameleon is the scientific name for the tree lizard. Then calotes for the garden lizard. Crocodilus for the crocodile. Alligator and Gavialis, that is for ghadial. And Hemidactylus. Hemidactylus is the scientific name for wall lizard. Okay, so you need to learn these scientific names also, like of the wall lizard, that is Hemidactylus, also of the turtle, that is Chilon, and of the tortoise, that is Testudo. And yes, garden lizard also calotes. The next class we have aves. These are the characteristic features for the aves. Aves include all the birds. Okay, all the birds come under the class aves. First feature is presence of feathers. So feathers are present in all the birds. Possess beak. You have seen the beak of the birds. Forelimbs are modified into wings. Okay, their forelimbs are modified into wings for their flight. Hind limbs have scales and are modified for walking. Okay, they use their hind limbs for the walking, also for swimming or clasping tree branches. Okay, means to whenever they sit on the tree branch, so to clasp, to hold that tree branch, they use their hind limbs, right? Skin is dry without glands, so glands are absent except the oil gland at the base of tail. So only one oil gland is present at the base of tail. Otherwise their skin is dry and no other glands are present. Long bones are hollow and pneumatic. So their long bones, like bones of the hind limbs, those are hollow bones, and hollow bones make the makes their weight light. Okay, and also they are pneumatic, means air cavities are present inside their bones. So their bones are hollow and having air cavities inside them. Okay, digestive tract with additional chambers. The crop and gizzard. So in the digestive system of the birds, two additional chambers are found, and these chambers are crop and gizzard, and these crop and gizzard chambers in the digestive tract help them to digest the hard seeds. Okay, you know, hard seeds are eaten by the birds. Okay, like they can eat the whole gram seeds or the wheat seeds. Okay, so to digest those hard seeds, their digestive system has crop and gizzard. Their heart is four chambered. So now in the aves, because the septum formation had been started in the reptiles, okay, and here in the aves, heart has become four chambered. Two auricles and two ventricles are present here. Now these are homeotherms. Homeotherms means warm blooded. Okay, so it is different from poikilotherms. Amphibians and reptiles are poikilotherms, means cold blooded, and these birds are homeotherms, means warm blooded. So what is the difference between poikilotherms and homeotherms? I told you that poikilotherms cannot regulate their body temperature, but these homeotherms, or you can say warm blooded animals, can regulate their body temperature. Okay, their body temperature means inside their body the fluids are present, and the temperature inside their body doesn't change with the change in temperature of external environment. So they can remain active in cold as well as in hot. Okay, so these are called warm blooded animals, means they can regulate their body temperature. Then double respiration, air sacs connected to lungs. So here air sacs are connected to lungs for the respiration. No urinary bladder is found. Urinary bladder is not found in the birds, and that's why their body weight is less. Fertilization is internal. Birds are oviparous, means they lay egg. Development is direct. No different life stages are present, that's why development is direct. Examples are crow, and the scientific name for the crow is corvus. Then pigeon, scientific name is columba. You need to learn these names also. Corvus for the crow, columba for the pigeon, and then Psittacula for the parrot. Okay, P is silent here, so Psittacula for the parrot, and then Struthio for the ostrich. Struthio. Okay, Pavo for the peacock, and Gulus for the fowl, Bubo, and Aptenodytes is for the penguin. Okay, this is another bird, and you learned this name, Aptenodytes. Aptenodytes is scientific name for the penguin. Then Neophron for the vulture. Okay. Now next class is Mammalia, and in mammals, most important characteristic feature is the presence of mammary glands. Okay, so this is the first characteristic feature. All the mammals have mammary glands. And what are these mammary glands? These are milk producing glands. Okay, so mammals have milk producing glands to feed their young ones. Okay, what is the function of mammary glands in us? To feed the young ones, right? So these are present on all the mammals, in all the mammals, to feed the young ones. Two pairs of limbs for walking, running, climbing, burrowing, swimming, or flying. Okay, because there are different mammals, so depending on their habitat and their other food habits, there are different functions of the limbs. Okay, in all the two pairs of limbs are found, but the functions of these limbs can be different. Like we use our limbs for the walking. Okay, or you can say tiger use its limbs for the running. Then mammals living on the trees use their limbs for the climbing. Then some mammals use it for the burrowing, some for the swimming, and for the flying also, right? Because there are mammals which can fly are also present, right? So Two pairs of limbs perform different functions in different mammals. Now next is skin with hair. So this is also characteristic feature that in mammals hairs are present on the skin, right? External ear, that is called pinnae. So we have external ear, pinnae is present. Heterodont means different type of teeth are present. Different type of teeth are present in us. You know, we have 4 different type of teeth: molar, premolar, canine and incisor, right? And thecodont means their teeth are embedded into a socket like structure, okay, deeply embedded teeth, which are deeply rooted teeth, you can say, in a socket like structure. So the such type of teeth are called thecodont. So in all the mammals, thecodont and heterodont type of dentition is present. And also diphyodont. Diphyodont, you know, we have 2 sets of teeth. In our childhood stage we have milk teeth, and after that those are replaced by the permanent teeth, right? So these 2 sets of teeth in the lifetime of a mammal is called diphyodont type of dentition. Then heart is 4 chambered, okay, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles are present in our heart and in heart of all the mammals, okay. We are homeotherms. All the mammals including human being are homeotherms. Homeotherms means warm blooded, means we can regulate our body temperature, okay. We can work in winters as well as in summers, okay. So we are warm blooded because we can regulate our body temperature. Then respiration by lungs, okay, respiration occur by lungs. Sexes are separate, means separate male and females are found in mammals. Fertilization is internal because it occurs inside the female mammal, okay, inside the body of female mammal. Then these are viviparous, means these mammals give birth to the young ones. Eggs are not laid. Here directly young ones are born, okay. So all the mammals are viviparous except echidna and platypus. So these 2 are exceptions, okay. These are oviparous mammals. These mammals lay egg while all other are viviparous, okay. So echidna and platypus, these are oviparous. Development is direct because no larva and pupa stages are found, okay. So development is called direct development. And then these are some examples of mammals. So first I told you platypus, that is a oviparous mammal, okay. So this scientific name can be asked, write the scientific name for the oviparous mammal. So the common name is platypus, or the complete name is duck-billed platypus, and this is the scientific name for the platypus, Ornithorhynchus, okay. Ornithorhynchus is the scientific name for the platypus. Then Macropus is the scientific name for kangaroo, Pteropus for the flying fox, Camelus for the camel, then Macaca for the monkey, Rattus for the rat, Canis for the dog, Felis for the cat. These are family names, okay, Canis and Felis. Elephas for the elephant, because there are different breeds also of the dogs, cats and elephants, okay. Equus for the horse, and Delphinus for the dolphin, and Balionoptera for the blue whale, and Panthera tigris is for the tiger. Now based on today's topics, your homework is NCERT question number 11 and 14, and these are all the NCERT questions have been done. So these are the last questions you need to do. Now let's discuss the homework solutions of previous lecture, and this is answer for the NCERT question number 8. Water vascular system is the characteristic of which group of the following, okay. So in which of the following group water vascular system is found? So in echinodermata. In echinodermates, water vascular system is present. So this is the answer. Answer is C. Next is NCERT question number 9, that all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Justify the statement. So this is the answer. The presence of notochord and paired pharyngeal gill slits are the characteristic feature of the phylum Chordate. Okay, in the chordates, what are the characteristic feature? Notochord is found and pharyngeal gill slits are found. Okay, so this is the character. These two are the characteristic features of the chordates. These characteristic features means presence of notochord and pharyngeal gills, these are found in vertebrates also. Okay, but along with vertebrates, these characteristics are found in two other subphylums also. Those come under the chordates. Okay, and these are like cephalochordate and urochordates also. Notochord and pharyngeal gill slits are present, but these are different from the vertebrates. Okay, in many characteristics these are different from the vertebrates. Hence it is said that all the vertebrates are chordates, but all the chordates are not vertebrates, because chordates include two other subphylums also other than vertebrates. Okay, this is the answer for question number 10 of NCERT, and the question is, how important is the presence of air bladder in the Pisces? So the answer is, air bladder in the Pisces regulates buoyancy, means make them capable to float in the water. Okay, buoyancy is the capability to float in the water or in any other liquid. Okay, so air bladder make the Pisces able, make the fishes able to float in the water. Okay, so this air bladder regulates the buoyancy, which prevents fishes from sinking. So this is the importance of air bladder. Because of the presence of air bladder, there will be no need by the fishes to swim constantly. The answer for question number 12 of NCERT, and the question is, should the number of eggs or young ones produced by an oviparous and viviparous mother be equal? Why? So oviparous mother means which lay egg, and the viviparous gives birth to the young ones. Okay, so the number can be equal of the eggs or the young ones. If yes, why? And if not, why? Okay, give the reason. So the answer is no. The number of eggs laid by the oviparous and the young ones produced by the viviparous are not equal, because the number of eggs produced by the oviparous mothers is more comparatively. Okay, here number of eggs is more than the young ones. And what is the reason behind it? Because in oviparous animals, development takes place inside the outside the uterus. Okay, inside in the oviparous, eggs are laid. Okay, and after the laying of eggs, development occurs, right, to form an adult organism. So development is occurring outside the uterus in case of oviparous. But in case of viviparous, development takes place inside the uterus, because young ones are produced here. Okay, so the complete development occur inside the uterus, and you know there is limited space inside the uterus. So in the uterus, in which space is limited, that's why lesser number of organisms will be produced. Okay, so because of the limited space inside the uterus, and because the development is occurring inside the uterus in case of viviparous animals, number of organisms produced are less than the eggs laid by the viviparous. Okay, and there is another reason also. That is, when eggs are present outside, there is a risk of getting eaten by predators, right? So eggs are under more risk. These can be eaten by predators due to their immobility, because eggs cannot move. Therefore, in order to sustain the progeny, there is a requirement of more eggs. So this is also a reason. You can say that is an adaptability from the nature side. Okay, if there will be more numbers of eggs, then there will be a probability to produce the young ones by those eggs, because some of these eggs can be eaten by the predators also. But there is no such risk in case of viviparous animals. Okay.